currently, you can't take a gun into most government buildings, airports, schools, state parks, casinos, fairgrounds, Sullivan Arena, Save Mart Center, Chachansey Stadium, and many other sites. So we adopted a program similar to what other cities in California are doing in terms of addressing the same thing.
Anytime you can screen every person coming in to ensure that they don't have a weapon of any kind, including a gun that's not allowed in our building, ensures the increased safety of the public and our employees who use this facility every day.
People who get CCWs have extensive background checks. They complete firearm safety courses. They're trained with their weapon. They have to understand the laws and safety requirements regarding the use and storage of their weapon. As has been said, statistically, they're some of the most law-abiding citizens in the country.
Increasing security makes a building safer. Checking for weapons at the entrances, making sure that no guns allowed, making sure there are armed personnel on site make a building safer. Listen, I respect Garry a lot. He's got strong opinions, and I just disagree with him.
What's the criteria been for issuing these CCWs? How many times have CCW permit holders illegally brandished their weapon at City Hall? How many might have been saved if any of those victims had had a CCW to protect themselves? Would you have advocated for them to have a CCW permit? What is the protocol at this point?
I'm gonna interrupt it. Chief, do you mind sitting down? I think we're done with the cross-examination.
I don't think so. I'm asking the
Chief,
questions.
Please.
Council President?
How many more questions do you have?
I have some questions for him. This is a very important issue, and I know we differ on it, but I think that I have the right to ask our police chief, who the mayor is relying on to back this ordinance, to ask some questions about these kinds of questions. These are appropriate questions.
Council member, we have spent several hours in closed session. We've asked
So
the
what?
chief several questions in closed session.
Doesn't
We've
matter.
had
We're out in the
significant
public. I
time.
want to ask the chief questions. I'm representing the people, and I have a right to ask those questions.
A couple of questions, council members.
No, not a couple of questions. I'm going to ask my questions.
When my officers are at an event, we do not allow CCW holders at the event. And there's a reason for that. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. When guns start coming out and we don't know they're police officers, we have to engage that person. And that takes the officer out of the fight.
Where has that happened, Chief, in the country?
It happens every time we have an active shooter situation or we have where it's a law enforcement issue. Is if there's a gun there, we've got to secure it. I cannot walk by somebody who has a gun, says, I'm a good citizen and I have a permit. I can't just walk and take his word for it. I got to stop. I've got to detain him. That officer's out of the fight. So now you're limiting my officer's effectiveness by allowing too many cooks in the kitchen. I agree with you. These CCW holders are good citizens and they do good work, and I support them. I have signed over 100 CCWs since I've been chief in just the few short months I've been here. But when we're doing security and I'm in charge of security, then we restrict that so I know who has a gun in the building when my officers are engaging people. Because I tell you what, when seconds matter, people get hurt.
Yeah, and when seconds matter and there aren't guns and it takes a while for police to get there, people die.
Thank you. The council has spoken. Now we're going to return to the consent items that were pulled. The first item is 1Z.